This is Bloomberg Surveillance with Tom Keene and Paul Sweeney.
Do you just ignore all the noise that's out there right now?
We think about the tech as one monolithic kind of trade here.
With Alexis Christoforous on markets.
We're talking about inflation not really being under wraps yet.
And Michael Barr with news.
New calls to lower the temperature in the Persian Gulf.
The best in economics, finance, investment, and international relations. Bloomberg Surveillance on Bloomberg Radio, Bloomberg Originals, and the Bloomberg Business app.
Thanks so much. Laura Mayfield with us right now. We talk about granular. I mean, this is, folks, it's like econobabble, blah, blah, blah. Her notes are exquisite. Value perception is between choosing dining at Chili's rather than DoorDash Chipotle, or getting water instead of a Baja Blast Mountain Dew to wash down those $1 enchiladas at Taco Bell. How about that research you did?
Lettuce-free enchiladas.
Lettuce-free enchiladas. Are the kids asking for water? I doubt it. They want the Baja Blast.
They want the Baja Blast. I was going to bring you a Baja Blast freeze, but the machine wasn't up and running yet this morning.
That's okay. We're putting them into the food court. Here, I mean, the granularity you do is second to none. What does it tell you about the American consumer?
I think you have to have a granular look at the consumer when you're trying to understand what's happening. The aggregate data just doesn't tell the full picture. There are so many disparate storylines within the aggregate data. You have consumers overall, they are seeking value, but that means a very different thing to high income, middle income, low income consumers. And it doesn't mean they're not spending. We see in the data they are continuing to spend, but that thirst for value in this environment, it looks very different across the income spectrum.
How are people at the lower end? We talk so much about the K-shaped economy, and the lower end of the K seems to be more and more pronounced. How are they funding the day-to-day? Is it just paycheck to paycheck? Is it credit cards? How are they doing that?
I think it's all of the above. We're seeing a very scrappy, resilient consumer, as they always are. Yep. And they're using all available tools. We've seen an increase in adoption of buy now, pay later options, which, by the way, are a great payment method for consumers. They don't charge interest. The merchant or retailer covers the cost of that. So in some ways, it's a favorable alternative to credit cards for consumers. We're also seeing them, I think, use delinquency as a cash flow management tool. We're seeing a lot of borrowers, subprime borrowers in the auto loan space, fall delinquent, but then live in that state of delinquency. They can't afford to catch back up to current, but they're also not flowing through to charge off. So I think we're seeing a very scrappy, resilient consumer that's in problem-solving mode.
We are guilty. Paul's not guilty of this. I'm guilty of only talking la-di-da. You're talking about an America within the phrase flat on their back. What percentage of America is micromanaging the boneless meal deal for two at Wingstop?
I think it's probably more than you might expect.
I agree strongly with that. Half of America?
Maybe. I think when you look at the increase in energy costs, when you look at the Bloomberg's got this great data series on very granular real-time consumer spending. And when you look at weeks where gasoline spending has increased just because of the volatility in prices there, you see a direct impact on other categories that are going down, whether that's clothing, sometimes even grocery spending. I've seen offset the increase in gasoline spending. I think the consumer, a lot of the consumer is they're doing okay, but they're really they're problem solving on a day-to-day basis.
So in your world of asset-backed securities, where do you see that?
We see it across, there are prime consumer receivables in our market. There are subprime consumer receivables in our market. We see it a lot in the subprime data. We see servicing practices have an outsized impact on loan performance across pools. Some of the higher touch consumers require more servicing to get that cash flow to come through because those borrowers, right, they're choosing which bills to pay and which ones to let slide past the due date.
Laura Mayfield with us, just exquisite here at Port Washington Investment Advisors, granular research like nothing I've seen. The phrase paycheck to paycheck, there's like the way we perceive it, and there's even paycheck to paycheck of people making six figures. Discuss the emotion of paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I think, again, it comes back to consumers trying to solve for the priority of payments, which I think has evolved over the years. If you remember back to the GFC, we saw consumers prioritize car payments over home payments. And the notion was you can live in your car, you can't drive your house to work. But I think, with the increased cost of living across the board, whether that's housing affordability, rent increases, car expenses, childcare, every category just about has raised the threshold of what it means to live on a paycheck to paycheck basis.
The labor market, I guess, if we're a fully employed economy, so I mean that's a big part of consumer behavior, consumer spending. I guess that's the good news out there as it relates to the consumer.
Absolutely, and I think that's the critical piece that has helped encourage the consumer to continue spending in aggregate. That Conference Board data, which is more a labor force metric, has been stronger relative to the University of Michigan Conference
I got like
data.
10 other questions. You got to come back soon. Laura Mayfield, thank you so much. Securities Products, Port Washington Investment Advisor with incredible granular data. I mean, granular data like we just don't see. I mean, I get it, like Taco Bell, and like Sarah Wolf is at Taco Bell, Paul, like 3 nights a week. Joining us now.